Some stories whisper their truths, and others lay their hearts bare, and Sense and Sensibility does both masterfully. Set in a world of delicate manners and quiet, devastating consequences, it's a story where love is often tangled with duty, where hearts are tested by circumstances, and where silence can speak louder than any declaration. In this series, I'll be exploring the characters and themes of Sense and Sensibility, not as an expert, but by someone who has been moved by this story. If you have ever felt torn between head and heart, if you have ever wondered what it truly means to love wisely, then perhaps you'll find something meaningful here too. In my last series, I explored Pride and Prejudice, not as an academic or literary scholar, but simply as someone who's captivated by the characters, their choices, and the way Jane Austen's world continues to speak to us. So in my new series, I'm tuning to Sense and Sensibility, and I hope you'll consider joining me on this new journey. Before I begin the individual character analysis studies or themed discussions, I wanted to start with a kind of series prelude, a gentle laying of the groundwork. What is Sense and Sensibility really about? What emotional terrain does it cover? And how have filmmakers brought the story to life? So I've recently rewatched both the 95 and the 2008 adaptations, and though they tell the story in different ways, each one moved me, and I'll freely admit it got me welling up inside. What a soft lad, eh? Each adaptation illuminated different parts of the story, the aching, unspoken love, the sting of betrayal, and the quiet strength in choosing duty over desire. Of course, neither adaptation can capture every moment or nuance of Austen's original novel, and that's part of the beauty of this exploration. While these videos will centre on the adaptations, I'll also be referring to the novel at times to fill in those quieter details, the things that get left behind in a screenplay. For the full experience, the novel truly is essential. At its heart, Sense and Sensibility is the story of two sisters, Eleanor and Marianne Dashwood, navigating love, heartbreak and social expectations of Regency England after the death of their father leaves them financially vulnerable and socially displaced. Eleanor, reserved and rational, guards her emotions with care, while Marianne, passionate and impulsive, throws herself fully into every feeling. Through their parallel romantic journeys with Edward Ferrars and John Willoughby, and the steady presence of Colonel Brandon, the novel becomes a meditation on emotional resilience, personal growth, and the tension between reason and feeling. What makes this story so enduring is not just the romance or the drama, but the way that the character's fate is shaped by the choices of others. And that's why, to truly appreciate Eleanor and Marianne, I'll need to explore the people who orbit them, the meddling Mrs. Jennings, the calculating Fanny Dashwood, the kind-hearted Colonel Brandon, and even Lucy Steele with her quiet ambition. Every interaction matters, because that's just how Jane Austen wrote. Every moment between characters reveals something more about the world that she created. While my focus will be on the 95 and 2008 mini-series, both of which offer beautifully distinct interpretations, there are other notable adaptations worth mentioning. The 1971 and 81 BBC versions brought a more theatrical tone, with the 71 Eleanor portrayed by none other than Joanna David, who many of you will fondly recognise as Mrs. Gardiner from the 95 adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. So she was Eleanor as well. And so each adaptation of Sense and Sensibility contributes to the legacy of Jane Austen's work, although none can fully encompass the quiet thoughts, the feelings, and the private struggles that are woven so delicately throughout the novel. So if you're watching along with me, know that while the screen adaptations offer windows into Jane Austen's world, they don't give us the entire view. For that, as I'll often mention, we must return to the novel itself, and I'll be referring to it often, especially where the films step away or condense. And together with all of your contributions in the comments section, we'll piece together a fuller, deeper picture of the characters and their world. And as I produce each video, I'm bound to find comments that you leave that kind of pertain to some of the other characters. So if I've released a video on Robert Ferrers and we haven't got to Edward yet, your comments will actually enlighten me as I prepare the next series of videos, if that makes sense. So what can you expect from this series? Much like my exploration of Pride and Prejudice, I'll begin not with the central characters, but with those that kind of evolve around them, the supporting cast who shape the story, often in a subtle or surprising way. Over time, I'll build towards the 5 central characters: Willoughby, Colonel Brandon, Edward Ferrers, Marianne, and finally Eleanor. For a number of characters I discuss, I'm also hoping to create a thematic companion video exploring key ideas like self-restraint, reputation, heartbreak, loyalty, emotional expression, and of course the balance between sense and sensibility. In those companion videos, I'll also be comparing how the 95 and the 2008 adaptations portrayed each character, and I'll include clips and stills where possible to show how different choices, performances, or omissions influence the way we understand these characters on screen. Sense and Sensibility is a story of love, loss, sacrifice, and self-discovery. And whether you've read the novel or seen the adaptations or encountered it for the first time, I hope you'll find something here that resonates. So stay tuned then as I begin to prepare my videos. The journey starts at the edges of the story and moves steadily inwards. Hey, I hope you liked that little intro I put together. I kind of liked it, so I'll end this video by playing it again. Catch you soon in the first character analysis episode. Bye for now.
Some stories whisper their truths, and others lay their hearts bare. And Sense and Sensibility does both masterfully. Set in a world of delicate manners and quiet, devastating consequences, it's a story where love is often tangled with duty, where hearts are tested by circumstances, and where silence can speak louder than any declaration. In this series, I'll be exploring the characters and themes of Sense and Sensibility. Not as an expert, but by someone who has been moved by this story. If you have ever felt torn between head and heart, if you have ever wondered what it truly means to love wisely, then perhaps you'll find something meaningful here too.